Is it different?
Hey,
Oh,
hump day,
oh my God, it's hump day. How funny.
hump day,
Hump day.
hump day.
So welcome back to our book digest of Calling in the Bun by Catherine Woodward Thomas. And we are on is it our second to last lesson?
Oh my god, I think it is.
Jesus.
I think it's 49 is the last one, right?
Oh, yeah. So we have, no. Oh, yeah. We have one more lesson after this.
Oh my god, it's the second to last one.
So we were just saying how this lesson isn't as juicy as maybe the last, but it's a good reminder.
Oh, there's two more after this.
Oh, there's two more?
Yeah, 48 and 49. So we're on 47. This is the third to last one.
All right.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, Kristen and I have been on a journey through this book that I originally started in my women's group. Oh my God, no way. Mine's getting there. Catherine, watching.
It's been a rough ride.
Finding. I feel so pale.
We've been on a journey, okay? Like, seriously. My poor dog.
Yeah, so this lesson, though, if you could see on this big, giant, beautiful text here, is on giving thanks. And
that's for all you guys that don't got good vision, okay?
So this lesson is short and sweet, but there is a great amount of work to do. As we were just saying in the lesson, it's required at the end to write out 5 whole pages on what you're grateful for. So we are going to walk you through what we learned from this lesson and our favorite takeaways, and then we'll walk you into the actual lesson at the end. So on the first page, was there anything that stood out to you most?
Yeah, she says like something about she was in a relationship and despair took over and began to dominate the relationship, and she became more despondent. And so the relationship, she wanted to end this relationship, but she couldn't with her boyfriend, and her inability to end the relationship was causing her to lose respect for herself. And so she was in this like funk. She was just like falling apart. She felt like her character was falling apart, and she didn't know what else to do. And then she says she surrendered, and she said that I must need to be here. I told myself I gave up resisting the predicament, and then she shifted to this sense of gratitude. And so this whole lesson is about gratitude. And she said that she just started saying like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this relationship. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this pain that's sitting on my chest and causing my heart to break open. Thank you, God, for using this man to teach me to be a more loving and compassionate person. Miraculously, after a few minutes of repeating this prayer to myself silently, my heart began to lighten.
And then she gained the strength to leave and part ways in like a adult, mature kind way. And it just a great example of how relationships, even miserable ones, provide you with the opportunity to grow and mature in ways that you might not have done otherwise. So I think every relationship that we have, every connection we have, whether it be family, friends, colleagues, name it, is just always going to teach us something about ourselves, about, humanity, everything. So we all are teachers to each other. And I love how she brings in Eckhart Tolle in his book Power of Now, which I've read, but I don't really remember. I might have to revisit that.
Me too. I've read it too, but I don't remember it. Like
years ago.
Yeah.
But I really want to talk about this quote because I don't have complete clarity, and I love when we come together and kind of like dissect these even sentences because it just brings life to it and different perspective on it. So the quote from that book is, "Your task is not to search for love, but to find a portal through which love can enter." And it says right after, gratitude is that portal. So what do you think that he meant by that?
Bless you.
You heard that beer.
But to find the portal through which love could enter. I think it's like really deep and beautiful. Because that portal is being in, I don't know, it's like that source of joy and love for, I don't know, your existence and connection to, I think, your highest being and your higher power. And when you're connected to that, it is your source and it's your portal for more things of bliss and joy to come to your life. And so it is the source. And I think gratitude is part of that source and that portal where if you're in that and you're like, thankful, God, thank you, universe, or whoever it is that you believe in, you know, you're in that divine source being where you have the power to bring things in, and it just effortlessly does it.
And I just love how it says, like, it's not about searching for anything. So it's almost like it's like there's so many like things to think about. Like it's about receiving, it's about being opened. I think it's a great analogy. I feel like there's so much to it in just a simple sentence, right?
Yeah. I mean, I forgot, I didn't even say the part about like not searching for it. And I've definitely been guilty of like searching for it and it's never worked, by the way.
I could concur with that.
Searching does not work, especially for women, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About receiving. And I think that's very feminine too, is the receiving energy, right? We spoke about that a bunch of times throughout this journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next paragraph, I just underlined, I'm talking about gratitude that moves our hearts from contraction to expansion, and from broken to whole.
Yeah, and I'm talking about gratitude as a kind of alchemy that transforms our very experience of life. That was right before that.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
That's what I'm talking about.
Put her up. I love the next the paragraph because it's kind of like reminds me of my morning routine, and we're like, I can't even count how many days, you know, we missed days in here and there, but we've been really consistent on, you know, setting like a good morning routine. And it says here, I set my alarm clock a half hour earlier than usual. She woke up, grabbed her morning coffee, took out a pen and notebook and wrote 5 full pages, like we said in the beginning, of what she's grateful for. And not as a list, mind you, but as though I was writing a journal entry. So she said, "Dear God, thank you for the beautiful hardwood floors throughout my apartment. Thank you for my sweet loving cat, Clover." You know, she goes into all this stuff, her quiet time. And when she ran out of things to be thankful for, she started to search like more things, like her pillowcase color and, you know, all these things. But then it goes into the gorgeous part of, you know, she's had to, when you have to stretch, it's important to be thankful for the things that aren't as favorable. And I think there's tremendous power in this. I actually had like a little thought earlier today during meditation of just like being grateful for it all, you know, and just like to think about, you know, things that were challenging or really painful, or sometimes it's hard when you're in the thick of things to be grateful for it. As she says, I think there was an analogy of a toothache. And like when you have a toothache, you can't, and I had a terrible headache, a tension headache about an hour ago. It made me laugh because when I was reading through this to prepare for the call, I'm like, it made me be grateful for the fact that everything else felt pretty good. You know, like, all right, I have a little headache, but I'm probably hungry, you know, or whatever it is.
What about those hard relationships or those people?
That is a great thing. And especially in this context of, you know, this is all about relationships. And I think I could totally look back at every single experience I've had, or even like friendships, intimate relationships at all. And I think there's always something to be grateful for, whether it's something like, even if it's something super painful or devastating that just taught you so much. And what not to maybe repeat, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? Or how do you feel about being grateful for the things that might suck?
Well, the challenging relationships, or any relationships for that matter, are always a reflection of you or some part of a reflection of you. So it's showing up, for some reason, and it's a good way to kind of break through of what's not working there. I think every person has a part of ownership in a relationship, and there's some sort of reflection of whatever's not working between those two people.
Mm-hmm.
So having those difficult relationships is a good way to like break through whatever's not working.
Mm-hmm. And she touches upon like even our relationship with ourselves. So it's a common one, especially in this day and age with social media and even like the youth, like their constant need for approval, like within our bodies. And she uses this analogy too, like, thank you that I've found 5 pounds with my period, because I get to love my body even when I don't necessarily feel like it's in shape. So it's just encouraged to dig really deep. Like, what can that bring you? Or how could that teach you something? Or what kind of grace do you give yourself, when things aren't where you want it, right?
Mm-hmm. I love the quote on the side. And only when we are no longer afraid do we begin to live in every experience, painful or joyous, to live in gratitude for every moment, to live abundantly. Dorothy Thompson. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And then, so it's just showing like the power of gratitude. Like, I feel like we've heard like, if you can't be simultaneously like angry and grateful, like it's just it's one or the other.
Right.
And it brings you joy when, and you become unattached to the way your life's going, if it's going the way you want to or not, when you're grateful. And you can be blissful most of the time and just be happy that you're alive. So now we're on the second page.
I like the top part of the second page, or the third page, right? 308.
Yep.
To get to that, it says, now this is the miracle. During that 30-day period, I begin a pervasive sense of joy. Feel a pervasive sense of joy. The sense of joy was completely unattached to whether or not my life was going the way I wanted it to. I simply began to feel blissful most of the time. I was truly happy just to be alive. And then she goes on to say, what I learned about gratitude is this. When we give thanks for everything in our lives, specifically and exactly for the way they are, regardless of our preference for them to be different, our lives become lit up with joy. And when we are lit up with joy, we become the absolute magnet for the blessings of life.
Absolutely. I love that, because I highlighted that and wrote yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a good transition to the next paragraph when it talks about that whole like lack, and how sometimes we feel like we don't have enough love, or we don't have enough money, or you don't have enough intimacy. Those weren't quite the words she used, and that's understandable. And then she goes into the whole toothache thing. Like, when you have a toothache, you're not always thinking, well, gee, I'm awfully glad that I feel fine and my hands don't hurt. But she said the danger of preoccupation with the lack in our lives is that we are creative beings, and whatever we give our attention to is what we create more of.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been saying this a lot, like even like I try to catch people that are close to me, or catch myself, like when I come from a space of lack, or like where I feel worried about something, it's like, if I'm putting all my energy into that, that's what I'm going to get more of. So to be really mindful of, not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I just I've really been thinking a lot about that. It's all about our focus.
That reminds me, I gotta write that down. Being mindful, you know, of the energy that you are creating within yourself and putting off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think the next part is just, we focus on what we don't have, right? And then reframing that into what we do have. And I think that's like the basis of gratitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I like what they say. Yeah, like how you're saying gratitude shifts our perception from what we don't have to what we do have. And then it goes on to say that is what Jesus meant when he said, to him who has more shall be given. Gratitude is an inner map that instructs the universe how to respond to us.
mhm.
It says just as depression is an inner map that says you will never have whatever you want, no matter how hard you try. It's hopeless. On the flip side, um, be attached to something specific, but don't dare believe that you'll actually get it. So does gratitude affirm good things are always coming to me. Look, there's another one right now. Life is good to me, even when it doesn't appear to be. So at first glance, I know that love belongs to me because I have the constant evidence of its beautiful presence in my life.
Yeah. And I think that's a great affirmation. I might want to write that one down. Because I think from what you just read, it was saying like not to be attached to the outcome
Mm-hmm.
and letting it go. Is that pretty much what she was saying?
Um,
You said, be attached to something, right?
mhm.
Specific, but don't dare believe that. Oh, so it's saying like gratitude doesn't affirm. I'm confused.
I think that's true what you say, like, don't be attached to the outcome. I think that that's true, but I'm not sure if that's what they were trying to say here. Um, I think it's just life is good to me when it doesn't appear to be so at first. I know that love belongs to me because I have the constant evidence of this beautiful presence in my life. I mean, I think it's just like having that gratitude that even in the bad or the good, to be thankful for something. There's always something to be thankful for. And like a lot of times, and you've already kind of stated this, a lot of times we don't see the beauty in the bad, but really it is probably breaking us into something even more beautiful.
Girl, I just had this conversation. I'm doing like 75 hard, and we just went on a walk before on the way home to this meeting, and I was just reiterating like something I said a little while ago about how like a year ago when we came up on like our anniversary, like I was like, wow, we've done so much in like a short amount of time together, right? And now like we're like, if I could predict the way that things are turning now, I couldn't even write that story. But I think it's like just what we're saying here. It's like I just know that good things are always going to happen. Like I trust and like I'm taking massive action and,
Mm-hmm.
just leaping, right? But it's like I'm grateful to see what comes next kind of thing. Cause it's like you can't even imagine what's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
Like
what I mean?
going on, like where you were and where you are now, like
That and where I'm going. Yeah. So it's like past, present, future too.
right.
Crazy.
Can I ask you to like maybe if you want to share like how you've like trained your mind to live in more gratitude now where things have shifted drastically in this last year, whereas before things might have been more of a struggle? Like how did you take control and ownership of your mindset to make it be working for you and not against you?
I think that's where it lies, right? What you just said. It's like taking control of my mindset, like catching myself, catching what I'm hearing around me.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the work that I'm doing, like all the reading I'm doing, all the groups I'm in, like we're kind of going over all this. So it's like,
Yeah. If you're in consistent um environment of where you're constantly rewiring your mind, then it's going to be beneficial to you.
yeah, even like Think and Grow Rich is like we're going over the steps in one of my courses, but it's like just the power like that's one of the biggest lessons from that book is just the power of your mindset and how
Yeah.
thoughts are things, and then you attach emotion to that, and that's drives you into the action, and that creates your reality, right?
I need to read that book.
Yeah, it's good. I'll read it again with you if you want. So back to I just think, those affirmations are something that I've been working a lot on, whether it's like reading things out loud, and then just being open, like we just said, like I don't think, I have an intention of like what I want like, for instance, I put 2 things on my vision board and they happened in a week. I don't know how. I'm not asking questions.
When was this?
I had my course on Tuesday. Oh, wait. I had my course on Tuesday and it's already happened today. Something small. I can't really talk about it right now, but I'll tell you another time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just amazing, like when you're in alignment with things, like how quickly, things could happen for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And so do you think that's part of the portal that we were just talking about?
I think that's definitely the portal. And I think also, like, I literally write in my morning routine journal, like, gratitude, 10 things I'm grateful for. But I'm curious to see these 5 pages, like what comes up. And maybe even writing down the not so favorable things, because I tend to, shy away from that now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to focus on the bad, but if you're focusing on something that's maybe not so favorable and flipping the script, I think that's what, they want us to do here, right?
So my question, like, talking about the portal, or talking about alignment, and I said, do you think that's the portal? And you said yes. Do you think gratitude is a part of the portal, like, or your alignment? Do you think gratitude is a part of the alignment and how that happens?
Yeah, I think that's what they said, right? That was part of the quote. And gratitude is the portal, right?
Right, but I was just talking about in your personal life, how you feel like how you said things were in alignment, and how you like just manifested 2 things on your vision board. Do you think there was gratitude in that to make that happen? Is what I was asking.
Yes. I don't know. Like, it's hard to say because, like, everything's happening really quickly. So I'm like, I'm trying to backstep because it's like very present for me right now.
Yeah. You said that you write like.
It has to be. Yeah.
You write like 5 things every morning or something?
10. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then you are in gratitude.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing that. Yeah. Like, people have been telling me to do it, and I just don't, and I need to.
Mm-hmm. But it's these little things. Like one of my new goals, of which I'm doing like I said, I'm doing 75 hard. So it's like I'm reading, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing my outdoor workout. I'm trying to all these things. I have my groups, I have, work, 2 jobs. It's just like, so I think it's important, I don't know, just to reflect on all this, like, but the gratitude is definitely a big part of it. Like, even just like thinking about it when, I listened to Master Ko's meditation earlier and he was talking about, different things. And I was like, wow, like just to be grateful for everything. And I really meant it. And I felt it in my heart, like for all of it.
Nice.
And it's a nice place to be in because I suffered for so long.
Yeah. And that's like aligned with what it said about the heart. Like that one sentence that we said about the heart, do you remember that? We said something about the heart, like being like open.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what you're experiencing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so beautiful.
I mean, I'm not perfect. Like, I complain sometimes and I get frustrated.
Let's just celebrate you right now, Jenny.
I love you.
Celebrate you. You're working hard, and and you're a prime example that this is working. I mean, that's something to celebrate.
Thank you, Angel.
Proud of you.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
I hear your phone blowing up.
Oh, Lord have mercy. You only knew.
Good idea.
It's all those boys coming after me, man.
Oh, girl.
Watch out. Someone got to put a ring on it soon.
Ooh. Put a ring on. So then we're on page 309. And I think this is the whole again, like maybe trying to predict the future, and she talks about like all these what ifs, right? So she's saying like how Jesus himself understood the power of gratitude to create abundant life filled with all that is needed in any given moment. He astonished us to consider the lilies in the field, how they grow, and giving up the worry about how we don't wait. I'm so confused with this. Sorry. I guess he's just saying like our constant worrying and fretting about life must have seemed foolish to him, as if the lilies in the field were all huddled around, whispering words of fear to one another. And this was the whole example of the what if. So what if there is no more rain? What if the sun doesn't shine tomorrow? What if there's an earthquake and we become uprooted in our soil? Oh, what will become of us then? And as life is constantly redefining itself according to our consciousness, gratitude is the absolute best way to attract all that is good and lovely and wonderful into our lives. It begins with something both simple and profound, giving thanks for exactly the way things are and exactly the way things are not in your life right now. And we talked about this in a previous lesson, to be grateful for like what's here and now, like in the present moment. I think we talked about presence like constantly, like, and I think she'd really drilled it in our head to be present. Because I remember like at least 5 weeks of us talking about that. But I think it's beautiful now, like to just think about being grateful for
the way present moment
are, but also the way that they're not.
Yeah.
And what that could teach us, right?
Yeah. And I mean, even saying it out loud, like I'm thankful, like how they said, like I'm thankful for this challenging experience, like just saying you're thankful for it. So then that it creates like better things, like acknowledging it and then it forming into something better, you know? I'm hoping that it doesn't create more pain, you know, when you're thankful for the things that.
I think also like to be specific on what part of it you're thankful for. Like, obviously you're not going to be like, oh, I'm thankful for, like, I think getting specific on like what it is that you can be thankful, like the silver lining in it, right?
Yeah, like the growth of, I'm thankful for the growth in myself through this hard relationship. I'm thankful for me building my confidence through standing up for myself in this hard relationship. Like, yeah, I think maybe being more specific on the silver lining and saying that out loud.
I feel like I've been like even proud of myself for setting like way more boundaries, and like when I don't feel no longer like comfortable or valued or disrespected, like it's not very long till I'm like out, like I'm out, you know. And I never would have been like that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So it's nice. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to jump into the practice. And that is to take out your journal.
Did we finish that last paragraph? I don't know. I just feel like it was did we wrap it up?
I did read it. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect.
So if you see the last sentence, it says, giving thanks for exactly the way things are and exactly the way things are not in your life right now.
Okay, got you.
And then that flows into taking out your journal and to write 5 full pages on things that you're grateful for. And it says, while 5 pages may be a lot to ask, the ability to shift your awareness from lack consciousness to abundance consciousness promises to completely alter your experience of your life. Because of this, I believe it is worth the time and effort. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
You were just saying how you're like, girl, she was telling me about something else. She's like, this is 5 pages. And now I'm like, it's like nothing. Like it's a lot, but it's like if we could come up with 5 whole like full pages.
Yeah. And also the things that are challenges, but say the silver lining in it, right?
Yep. I'm gonna do that because I have a lot of change and I guess you could say challenges coming up, but all exciting stuff. Yeah. And then the bonus practice in action is today I invite you to take on this practice of being grateful for everything exactly how it is and how it is not. And I think we talked about this too, like how things aren't good or bad, they just are. It's like, remember the birds and like how they just fly over and like nothing's good or bad, it just is. And through the day, regardless of whether or not you are pleased with what's occurring, say a prayer of thanks that things are just the way they are. And that's it.
Yay. What a short and sweet lesson.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, shit.
Do you want to read the last paragraph?
Yeah. At least once today, express your gratitude to someone. Tell this person exactly why you are grateful for their presence in your life. Be very specific. E.g., I always feel like I can talk to you without being judged. You always try your best to take my complaints seriously. You inspire me to be a better person.
I think I could start by saying that's all true with you. And I think there's something beautiful about our friendship and like, you know, our collaboration because we're very understanding with each other. We're always able to meet each other completely honestly and exactly where we're at. And I love, you know, like there's never judgment. It's always like an acceptance and it's vulnerable. It's super vulnerable and beautiful. Like we've never met in real life, right?
No, we haven't.
And like even earlier, like we always like we're very understanding with each other. Like I don't know, like it's funny because Kristen's like, can we do it an hour later tonight? And I was actually finishing up some business thing. So it was like perfect alignment with me. I would have been running like 10, 15 minutes late. And then I got my walk in. So it all worked out. But it's just having that, like, I don't know, is it like freedom with each other?
Yeah. I mean, we have freedom and we have respect for one another. And we're very conscious of each other's, you know, lives and well-being and time and space. And we value the time and space that we also have. So I think all of that.
Very important to both of us. So that's why it works and gels so well.
Yes.
All right.
I'm so grateful for you, Jenny.
Likewise.
Yes. So thank you for this journey.
All right, Cookie. Well, next week we have 2 more lessons left. Oh my God.
Can't wait.
On being a yes to love. So
can I tell you a little secret real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So we have 2 more lessons and I have 2 more weeks of this program.
Holy shit. Whoa.
Like super aligned.
There's a lot going on with that. What are the odds?
Yes. What are the odds? Because I was thinking about it because you were like, oh, there's only 1. And I was like, oh, wait, let me double check. I was like, oh, there's 2. And I have 2 more weeks of this program. And I'm like, they're completely aligned.
It's interesting.
So we're going to do 1 lesson the next week and the next week. Like I'm going to finish this like in alignment.
I can't wait to talk to you about how you feel after everything.
Yeah, like, I'll be done with this and this other 10-week program that I've been in, this container. So it's going to be like, woo!
I'm free.
I'm free to do what I want in the old time.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you, love.
Thank you. And thank you for all who popped in. I saw a couple of people pop in. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you real soon.
All right. Bye. Have a good Easter Sunday. Love y'all.
Love you. Bye.